Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about when people say that they tried speed work and it didn't work for them. You know, they'll make these statements and you have to wonder what they mean. What do you mean you didn't get bigger and stronger? Or it didn't carry over? What do you mean? And I'm assuming they mean they didn't get results. And here's part of the problem with it. When you do speed work, if you do not put real effort into it, just like anything else, it's not going to work. You know the expression, things only work if you do? So in this case, speed work only works if you work. And the problem is because it counts for some of your training volume. If you don't do it correctly and you don't reach upper threshold muscle fibers and you don't get any hypertrophy from it, your training as a whole will suffer. And so when we do speed work, it needs to be, and I don't want to use the word maximum effort because it sounds like yummy work, but the idea is the same. Every single rep that you do when you do speed work, you need to push as hard and as fast as you possibly can. And here's what I mean. If you go and push, you do a 1 rep max lift, how hard do you push? If it's a true max, you push or pull or strain as hard as you can, and that weight moves slow usually, and you lock it out. You push as hard as you can. When you do speed work, the idea is the same. Every rep needs to be treated like it is a 1 rep max. Okay? And again, like some of these you're seeing me do all this with heavy accommodation. These are heavy chains. Most of this isn't just like 50 or 60 pounds of chains. I think the lightest bit of speed work I'm doing in this video is like 110 pounds, and then some of it's 160 pounds of chains up to. Okay, so you decelerate just a bit at the top due to the accommodation. But the idea is that you explode as hard as you can. Not 80% of your effort, not 90%, because people are used to, when we do rep work, of holding back, right? Because you got to get to the end of your set. So it's very common whether you're doing a 5 rep, a 10 rep set, whatever you're doing, you don't put 100% effort into the early sets. The early reps, I mean. They're just warm up. They're like a warm up. And they really are. Because the last 5 reps before reaching failure when doing rep work reach the upper threshold fibers. It's the only ones we're producing real exertion on. And so we tend to hold in reserve. And so when we do speed work, if you're just doing it like normal reps, if you're just doing it like normal reps at a normal tempo, the same way you do other stuff, but you're just assuming because you throw some bands or chains over that you're going to get the benefit, or let's say you're doing straight weight at 60%, right, with no bands or chains. Well, if you do 60% for only 5 reps, and you don't put maximum effort into every one to where you're hitting the upper threshold fibers, you're squeezing the bar as hard as you can, you're exploding, you're bracing, you're giving it your all. If you don't do that, you're just doing rep work with a lightweight for low reps. You're not doing speed work. Well, let me ask the question, is that going to work? Of course not. But if it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't work, you can't claim speed work didn't work. Do you know why? Because you didn't do speed work. And you know, because I coach enough people at this point who do this system, I see it all the time. I see people who can learn speed work fast, and I see others who, when you explain this to them, you have to be like a broken record. They're like, well, I felt like that was faster. And you're watching them. You're watching their video footage of it, and they're not moving fast. They're not pushing with everything they have. They're leaving something in reserve. That will not work. It defeats the entire purpose of speed work if you do that. Not only does it defeat the purpose, you're just basically doing warm-ups. You just came in and did 5 to 12 sets of warm-ups. And if you do that, you can't stand around wondering why it didn't work. You know why it didn't work. And that's the thing that I would challenge people who are doing the speed work. Can you honestly say that when you do it, that you are focused on every rep as much as you could a 1 rep max? Are you pushing it and bracing and taking full lungs and pushing with everything that you have on each rep? Or are you just moving it kind of fast? Are you just kind of trying? Or are you exerting maximum force? And in fact, on speed work done correctly, you'll exert more force on every rep than you do on a 3 rep max, the first 1 to 2 reps. Only the third rep on a 3 rep max will you actually be exerting the same force you do on speed work usually. That's something Louis Simmons notes that he's very specific about, right? Because we can't do a 3 rep max. If we exert max force on the first rep, we'll be too tired with that heavy of a weight. We'll miss the 3rd rep. Like if it's a true calculation, you plug it in. If it's 90% of your 1 rep max, if you try to exert maximum effort on the first rep, it's going to happen. You're going to fail the set. You won't actually be able to get to 3 reps. With speed work, we can, because it's light enough. And that's the beauty of part of it, is that it teaches us to exert force like we would on a 1 rep max, but we're doing, 25 reps that way. But speed work should be violent. It should be aggressive. And I think that's a good way. I've heard Christian Thibodeau say that. And then, of course, I've said before on my private wall and some other lifters I know. Gotten the discussion since I had said when you're doing speed work, you need to hate the weight up. You need to hate the weight up. Or again, someone like Christian says, it needs to be violent. And again, good question to ask someone who's claiming, well, they didn't get anything out of speed work. My question for you is, did you treat every single rep like a 1 rep max? Were you as focused and pushing as hard as a 1 rep max on every rep you did the entire time you were doing speed work? Was it violent? Was it violent? Did you hate the weight up? And if you can't say that you honestly did that every time you did speed work, then you didn't fail. Speed work didn't fail you. You failed to do the speed work. You didn't do it. You actually wouldn't know if it works for you or not, because you didn't even bother to try. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.